the move out here. We're going to go d4 here. Knight f6. Let's go c4. Okay, I turned the volume down on the microphone a little bit. But if it's still too loud, you might just have to adjust it yourself, unless I get a bunch of people saying the same thing. Lolly attack. I don't know every single opening in the book, and the lolly attack does depend on what black plays as well. I'll definitely, as you've seen, I'm playing quite a bit of openings, so something else will come up. Okay, d5. I'm actually going to trade. You can hear fine? Okay. That or my speakers are starting to blow out. Hope it's just mic sensitivity. Yeah, hopefully it's not your speakers exploding. That doesn't sound too safe. Alright, we're playing bishop g5. Hey, Vladimir, you're back. Nice to see you again. Welcome back. Bishop g5, e3. So now it kind of looks like a queen's gambit declined, and then I exchanged the pawns. The bishop is usually back on e7 in that kind of setup, though. But I guess b4 is okay. No harm done. Bishop d3, threatening to play bishop takes h7. h6, okay, we retreat the bishop. So, rook e8, okay. I'm going to play knight e2, I believe. I'm going to go for kind of the attacking version of this opening, which we have seen previously. Castle, f3, e4. We've seen this previously. I'm going to see if I can pull it off again. And we'll see what piecewise does. Okay, we're castling. I'm going to play bishop g3. This is actually similar to another game we saw in the challenge previously. If he plays bishop to d6, we have knight to b5. Same pattern as the previous game we've played in this challenge. Okay, knight b5. So we're exchanging the queens, we're getting the two bishop pair, and we're leaving black with doubled pawns. So he's got doubled pawns, and we have the two bishops. This is pretty darn good for white here, I'd say. He needs to play like a6 to guard the pawn. And now I'm just going to double up on the c file, is the idea. Rook c2, rook c1. It's the plan. Is this challenge going to last the whole month of June? If so, being that you're 1447, I think you have plenty of time. Yeah, it's going to go till the end of June. The tricky part is that once I get to the higher ratings, I'm not guaranteed to win every game. So that's where the little bit of trickiness comes in. Let's play bishop e5. Poke this knight. If he goes back to d7, that's fine. I'll play back to maybe just d6 or something like that. Bishop d6. So I want to get rid of this knight and then play rook c7 is the idea. So we're still doubling. Yeah, it's going to get harder later on. That's me the little bit tricky part. We'll see, though. He's going to play bishop c6 and block off the file, which is a little annoying. Let's go h3 here, just to give my king a little space. Bishop e5 next move, probably. Something like that. Alright, bishop e5. We're going to trade rooks. I'm not going to get the full open file, but he's going to have two pairs of doubled pawns, probably. I'm probably going to grab on f6 and double more pawns. Did I do any tactic puzzles earlier on? Yeah, I did. If you want to watch the broadcast recording, once I finish the stream, there was some tactics puzzles at the start. Yeah, I'm going to improve the knight. The knight's probably going to end up on b4 or c5. Maybe a5 is actually a good spot, too. It'll take a while, though. Knight c1, b3, a5, hit this pawn. Okay, so... what do? I always have now bishop takes knight, doubling his pawns. He'd have 2 pairs of doubled pawns, which is pretty bad in any endgame. That's pretty bad. I think we're going to go for that. 2 pairs of doubled pawns. Any pawn endgame is completely won for me, I assume. We're also going to play bishop f5 here, pinning the knight. Am I going to delete this count after the challenge is over? I'm not really sure. I haven't really thought about that just yet, honestly. Okay, knight f4, I think is good here. Knight f4, he takes the knight, I take the bishop. Does he have any way to win pawns or anything? I don't think so. If so, could you give me a count instead? I'm not sure. We'll have to see what happens at the end of the challenge. Okay, so knight f4, attacking the pinned piece. We're also just threatening to... yeah, we're going to trade, and we're just picking up the d5 pawn. Up a pawn now, with him still having a bunch of doubled pawns, which is not good. I think we play g4. Stop this f-pawn from advancing, keep this as a target. My knight on d5 is kind of dominating his knight as well. His knight can't really go anywhere. Okay, probably just f4. f5, kick him back more. King here. This knight's starting to run out of squares. Maybe knight c3 next move? Or something like that. Let's play h4. f6 pawn is always going to need attention is the downside for black here. And I'm just going to advance this guy. e4, e5, just push the pawns forward, win the game that way. Knight c3 also forks 2 pawns, so I look like I'm picking up 1 at least. We'll trade pawn for pawn, that's fine. And e4. This knight can't move because I win the pawn. And we'll just push forward here. I could have played d5 also. That might have been even better. But this is pretty much winning anyways. We're picking this pawn now. And this knight's also trapped, so he only can go here. Okay, so we'll analyze this one. Not too much to say here. It just kind of does come down to his opening's okay. His opening's not bad. The problem, though, is this bishop d6. It seems like a couple people are missing this knight to b5 idea. I'm not winning a piece or anything, but I do have the 2 bishops, and he has doubled pawns, so I do have some long-term advantages here. And just work on kind of keeping the file, or controlling the file, trading off. Now he has 2 pairs of doubled pawns, and I just work on now knight f4, attacking the pinned piece and the pawn. If he goes here, I just take, and win a pawn. If he goes, obviously, knight f8 like we saw, I trade and then pick up d5. He should have probably taken the knight, and then I take here, and then maybe he checks and goes this way. Something like this was probably best for him. However, I'm still picking up pawns here. Or maybe just this one. I'm still picking up pawns and still winning the game, but maybe that was his better case scenario. The knight game was very instructive? Oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, it was just about... whoops. Where'd it go? It was just about winning the pawn and then just kind of pushing all of mine forward. The The knight on d5 was always very good. I just come back to trade off a couple pawns. The only way I can lose this game, you know, I'm up material. The only way I can lose is if I let his knight somehow win both of these pawns, and then these guys get going. If I can trade off some of these guys, for example, here I get his b pawn, he gets my b pawn. Now his knight is stuck guarding this guy. Whoops. He has to guard this guy, and this guy can never move because my knight's in the way. And now I just focus on the center because I know that this is all frozen at this point. So I just push the pawns forward, and it's winning here. All right, let's see. Just broke 1700 standard on